Super cool radio.
Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas. This is Super Cool Radio. Got a very special guest with me at this time. He's the first ever rapper to appear on the Super Cool Radio. Very recent signee to our partner DI Records. Please welcome GTS himself, Gus The Savage.
That's me. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Very nice to meet you. Very nice to chat with you. First ever rap artist here on Super Cool Radio. So I'm really looking forward to diving in deep, chatting with you, my man.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited.
So I want to kick this interview off. I think it's a fun question. Put you on the spot right now. If you could listen to one band's whole discography, that's all you could listen to, who would it be?
New Edition.
Nice. That's solid. For me, actually, because I was listening to them while I was working out today, Cypress Hill for me.
Oh, okay. That's
Like they do like the rap, the early stuff's like rap, but then like they got into the metal phase around 2000, and honestly, it's some of my favorite stuff. And like they kind of continue that for like the rest of their albums as well.
Mm-hmm. I picked New Edition because they're part of the reason why I chose to like rebrand myself into more R&B and pop stuff.
Yeah, there's some I wanted to cover coming up a little bit about your rebranding and your new image and stuff, and definitely like I'm really looking forward to like where you progress since signing with DI Records as well.
All right.
But before we get into all of that, obviously I'm chatting with GTS Gus The Savage. So how did you get started as a musician?
So I was in an Xbox Live party with a whole bunch of my friends, and everybody was rapping. And I was like, all right, I could do this too. And I started when I was 11. I made a Starter for the Bottom remix, and it was not good. It was recorded from a phone and my computer speakers where I was living in New York. And I thought it was good at the time because I'm like, oh, wow, this is my first song. Like, this is amazing. And after listening to it when I grew up, I was like, what was I thinking? And then I let it go for a little bit, picked it back up when I was 14, let it go again. And then when I was 15, I started to just like say, you know what, like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this like full-fledged. So I started writing more. And when I was 15, I adopted the name Gus The Savage because I played a remix of Shade of the Compton that I did for a girlfriend I had at the time. And she was like, wow, my boyfriend's a savage. And I was like, yeah, Gus The Savage. And then ever since then, that's where, Gus The Savage came from. But I was a whole bunch of different names before I came to Gus The Savage. But I'm glad I'm Gus The Savage now because I've just pretty much ran with that name. Nobody ever wants me to change it. I think it's corny now, but,
And I think it's like a fun name to like say, and obviously with the initialing GTS, that I like it. But for a while, like everyone was kind of using the word savage and like everything. It was like everywhere. But I dig the name. I think it's funny and it's kind of catchy too.
Yeah, I tried to change it so many different times, and everybody's just like, wow, like, why would you try to change it? You made a name for yourself with that name. Like, don't leave it. I'm like, all right, you know what? Fine. I'll just change everything else about GTS.
Yeah, and definitely. So you recently signed with, as I said, our partner, DI Records. I believe you're the first rapper to sign with DI Records. What led to signing with them, and what drew you to signing with DI Records?
So I believe it was last year. My manager was trying to get me into DI Records, and I was 19. I think I was like just turning 20 around that time, and I wasn't ready. I didn't have, like, my media wasn't ready. I was all over the place. I wasn't organized. And as time progressed, my music started to get better, and my manager resubmitted me. And Dakota reached out to me. He noticed that My medias was more organized. Everything was in place. My content was getting better. And I've just been waiting. I was patiently waiting for something to happen. And what led me to signing was being ready for it. You know, I've been waiting for the past 10 years. Like, I've dreamed about signing with anybody. It didn't really matter who. When I was younger, that's what I had in mind. I was like, it don't matter. I'm going to say yes, like, to anybody. But as I got older, I read the contract and I spoke to Dakota personally, and everything just felt like such a family vibe that I was just like, you know what, like, if this is going to be my first record deal, this is where I want to go. You know what I'm saying? This is where I feel comfortable. I get to keep my manager. She just became the vice president of the label. So shout out to Alonna, you know? So like, I feel like I'm already at home. So there's no other place to go but DI Records, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I really like working with DI Records, as you said, like Dakota. You know, I was talking to him a little bit before this interview, and he said like you really put the work in to improve yourself, like not only like your social media stuff, but also your media and all that stuff. So like he looks at people. He really looks at people before he signs them, and if he's impressed, that means you're worthy of being on the label.
Right. And at the time of us first meeting, I wasn't ready, you know? So I'm glad that he noticed my improvement in the things that I was doing and the content that I was creating, because I'm blessed to be a part of the DI team.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Alonna. I really like working with her setting up this interview. She is really cool. And as you said, made VP at DI Records very recently. So big shout out to her. Big thanks to her for making this interview possible. She's awesome.
Hell yeah.
And as with my personal experience with DI, it is really family. Like they really pay attention to each artist that is on their label. No one gets overlooked. No one like, there's really no like competition. Like, oh, this band's better than this band. Like, on the label, it's like always like, let's improve all of our bands on this label.
And that's exactly why. That's another reason why I signed to DI Records, because I saw how he worked with each band. He showed me the improvement of one of his artists, and I was just like, wow, like, that could be me, you know? Like, I need this push. I need all this behind me. Like, I've been lacking it. So I'm glad that somebody took interest in me, saw the potential, and said, I'm going to give you this contract and we're going to help you because we see a bright future for you, you know? So it touches my heart because I've always wanted to be noticed by anybody. Like I said, I tried to get noticed on the internet. I tried to get noticed by bigger labels. DI was the first. So you know what? I took it and ran.
Yeah, exactly. And I've heard like a lot of stories about like obviously like, other labels who like they'll just sign people and be like, okay, you're signed. We're not going to do anything for you, but you are signed to our label. That kind of stuff. And I don't get that vibe from DI Records at all.
Absolutely not. Like I said, I felt like I was at home with them. Like I was on the FaceTime with Dakota and my manager Alonna for like over 2 hours. Like, and we were just getting to know each other and building that relationship, building that trust, building that bond. It just felt so good, you know? So like I couldn't say no. You know, this is something that I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. So like I said, I took it and ran, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to obviously you and DI Records for where you guys go with everything. But a big thing, as we kind of alluded to earlier, so you're kind of going through image change right now. So can you kind of expand on to the audience like what you're doing, changing your image, and like what that entails and all that?
So I'm not doing much rap anymore. I kind of put that on a shelf for a little bit because I wanted to channel more of my singing side, more of my R&B and pop side, because I like to sing a lot more. I've always loved singing ever since I was a little kid. I used to go to church and I used to sing in the audience with my mom. I used to play drums in church and sing along. So like, I like singing more than rapping, and I felt like that's where I should lean more towards, like the singing stuff, because I felt like it was more marketable. I felt like I'll be able to get out there more. I feel like people would vibe with it more, you know, like melodic stuff. Like I like to do, sad songs that could relate to people. I like to do party vibes with the melodic stuff. Like I like that kind of stuff. So I felt like if I could deliver that to the people, that might be what they want. Maybe they don't want me to rap no more. Maybe they want me to try something new, because primarily rap was my main genre, and I never did anything other than rap. And in 2019, I did a couple melodic tracks, and that's when like it just clicked in my brain. Like I started to think about it a lot more. And in 2020, I dropped an album that had a lot of more melodic tracks. I scrapped that. I scrapped a couple projects that I had dropped earlier that year. But now the stuff that I'm working on is where I want to be. Like that's the stuff that I want to deliver to the people. That's the stuff that I'm comfortable with. That's the stuff that I vibe with, that I feel like everybody else could vibe with, So R&B and pop is where I'm at.
I kind of like this, the where you're kind of going with that stuff, because I do feel like, especially like the up and coming rap scene, I feel like it's very overcrowded right now. With like it's hard to stand out. So I think changing it up a little bit, especially since like you can actually sing and incorporate more melodic stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to like your new material and your new image change as well.
Shoot, I'm looking forward to my new material too. Like, cause I'm unpredictable. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, right when we get off this interview, I don't know what's gonna happen. All I know is magic's gonna happen in the studio.
Madness in the studio. I like the way that sounds.
Yes.
I'm kind of the same way. Like as we kind of discussed, like right before the interview, like I can get lost. Like I'd be like, oh, I was like, I'm gonna eat dinner at 6 o'clock, and then I look at the clock, it's like 7:30, and like I'm still working on editing interviews and stuff. And I go, right. I guess I don't need to eat today.
That's exactly how I'll be. I get carried away. Like I was late for the interview. I'm so sorry. I was in the studio recording with my boy KK. Shout out to KK. He's in the works of making his own little project. He's a great artist himself, and it's a pleasure to be working with him. He's like sitting right next to me right now as I'm doing this interview. So he's listening to all the brownie points that I'm gonna be getting, But no, all in all, for real, he's a really dope artist, and the things he's working on right now, he's also rebranded himself, and it's out of this world. It's like the best music that I've heard from him so far.
I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm definitely. So what's his kind of style of music?
Right now he's doing more like punk, pop, rock type stuff. He's on the same path I was on. Like he was a rapper before, and he decided to do like a whole genre change, and I think it's absolutely amazing. Like if you had access to the unreleased, oh my goodness, you'd go crazy. I'm telling you.
That's why you'd be late to an interview too.
Oh my God, yeah. That's exactly why.
I'm gonna have to check that out, because like I like that pop punk. Like that kind of style is like being brought back now, especially more prominent too. Obviously, with Machine Gun Kelly obviously did a whole pop punk album, but it kind of went away for a while. And I'm glad people are picking it up and putting their own spin on it again.
Hell yeah! Like I said, what he's doing with it is amazing. Like I don't listen to pop punk like rock music or anything like that, but when he sent me the songs that he was working on, I was like, yo, like I could play this in my car. Like I would drive down the road with my windows down, blaring it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people put the kid down. I would never, because I see myself in him. I was the same way. Everybody didn't like me. Everybody was just like, fuck that kid. And they hated me for no reason. And I can't do that to somebody else, because first of all, it's wrong of me to hate anybody. Like, I mean, I hate one person, and it's my stepfather, but that's it. It's the only person I hate. I don't hate people because, like I said, I see myself in a lot of people, and I see myself in him. He's doing the same thing I'm doing. He has the same drive, the same passion, the same electricity for music. So I'm helping him right now. Like I said, when we're done here, we're getting right back into working, and it's going to be crazy.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you guys are really working together. Like you guys kind of have similar paths, like with with obviously the image change and stuff like that. So definitely, and what you said about not hating people and stuff, like there is a lot of unnecessary hate, I feel like, or just like in the whole like world that people are just unnecessarily being mean to each other and hating each other. And I'm glad that people aren't continuing that cycle as well.
Right. And you know what? At least I was honest about like the person I hated. I have a valid reason, a very valid reason that I won't talk about, but my reason is valid for hating that individual, and that's exactly how it'll stay for the rest of my life.
I completely understand. It's the unnecessary hate that I'm.
Yeah, I see a lot of it on social media. Unnecessary hate. There's a lot of artists in this town who bring other artists down. There's a lot of artists in this town who feel like they're better than everybody else. And I, for one, I'm a neutral person. I love everybody. Like I fuck with everybody's music, whether everybody says it's bad, good, trash, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll listen to it. You know, like. I don't do that because at one point I was at where they were at. Like I was at a level where people were saying my music was ass. That people were saying I wasn't gonna get anywhere. People were saying you're not gonna do anything with music. You know. Now look at me. I have won 3 music awards. I'm currently signed to DI Records. I have my own studio in my house. You know, like I made it past all the hatred. You know, so for me to dish it out. I don't want to manifest negativity in my life. I've been manifesting all this good energy since I graduated high school, since during high school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get any negative vibes towards me ever.
Yeah, it's all about the positive vibes, especially like with my stuff. Like if I like somebody, I'll say like, "Hey, I like your stuff." Like I know a lot of people who like will like they'll watch like people's stuff, but they won't like say anything. They won't give any feedback on stuff, even if they like it or don't like it. And I just see it's just. I had a similar conversation last night with a couple other artists about like the music scene where I'm at in Indiana. It's just like the people aren't willing to help each other, even though they don't realize that if you help another person, you're actually building yourself up too. And I think that's what people are missing, like at least in our music scene.
Definitely, I agree 100%. Excuse me.
So obviously I know you're going for the image change, you're going for like the music change and stuff. But like, what is your writing process? Are you gonna have like the same writing process even if you're changing genres and stuff?
My writing process. Listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why I decided to do more singing songs is because I've been inspired by a certain individual who has impacted my life very strongly. And every one of my love songs, every one of my happy songs, every one of my singing songs is inspired by that person. So the writing process for that is just revisiting little memories, little stories I have in my head of that individual, turning it into music. Also, I'm real good at like writing nonfiction stories. So when it comes to that, I just think of like, I picture a movie in my brain. I'm like, okay, like here's what I want. I want two lovers, you know, getting it on, or like 2 lovers like walking in the park, having a good time. It's a perfect love story. You know what I'm saying? Like I just use my brain. I use my imagination. I get in my zone. As you can see, this is my zone. 420, city limits, elevation high. That's how I get into motion. You know?
Do you? Right on. Yeah, but I've noticed, especially listening to your music, especially like it was through DI Records I actually started listening to your music. You always had that real emotion in there as well. Even if, as you said, even if it's like a nonfiction story, like it still like has that emotion in there as well.
But I have to make it as realistic as possible. You know, like it has to feel real. When I'm recording it, I close my eyes and I imagine myself in that situation, you know, especially if it's something that I'm revisiting from my own past. I've already been there, so I could just put myself in that place. If it's for like something that I'm just making up, like I said, I just put myself in that place because, believe it or not, I was in a musical, so I have like a little acting skills, so I could just place myself anywhere and play that role, you know.
That's actually cool. I didn't know you're in a musical. I mean, it does help. Honestly, it does help with like writing because like you become like a character in the story you're telling, even if it's like your own music.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was listening and watching your interview with Zach from Nerds Order. Great guy. He gave me a shout out in his video, so I'm gonna return the favor. Definitely check out Nerds Order music. That dude is awesome. He put in so much hard work. I'm really happy with where he's gone. And honestly, some of his questions are just like, how do you think of that stuff? Like, he really puts in 100% with every interview.
He messed up my brain with the last question. Like, I never expected the interviewer to make me the interviewer, you know? Like, what questions do you have for me? And I was like, what? Hold on. I'm not ready for this, but I just did it because, you know, I have some experience. I do a podcast here and there, you know?
Yeah, I didn't expect that either, and like, I like that. I can't just blatantly rip that off. Like, that is his thing. That is what he's gonna do. But damn, that's good. That is a damn good question.
That was fire.
So, but as you just mentioned, so you are part of a podcast. So, how did that start, and what is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the NEPA Limelight Podcast. Yes. So that started as NEPA Unsigned Artists Magazine. I woke up one day from a 420 nap and I was like, I want to make a podcast that highlights every genre, no matter what it is. Okay. And then I made the page. I made the post. I was like, if you're an artist, you're ready to go, like, you know, come get an interview. Like, let's do it. Like, we're doing them right now. And then in the group chat, I was like, I'm like the master rebranding. Like, I rebranded it like 2 days later. I was like, what should the new name be? And my buddy Cody goes, Limelight. And I'm like, NEPA Limelight. So I made up the logo, bow, and we made NEPA Limelight. The first interview was under NEPA Unsigned Artist Magazine, and that was with Ty Soul, who became a member of the team literally right after that interview. And how we got prepared for that, we used to just like do the research, you know, research that artist, see what their streaming numbers were, what's their most popular song, what city they're from. Like, we tried to do as much research as possible before, you know, gathering these questions. Some of these questions were just freestyled, you know, we were just like on the ball, like, because at first we were interviewing people we knew, and then we started to get interviews from people we didn't know. Like, we had one with an artist that goes by the name of Big Gov, and he's from Detroit. You know, that was our first interview with somebody from a different city that wasn't our own. Then we had a band called Council on the podcast, and their music was played in the Olympics. They have over millions of views on songs on Spotify and across all platforms. And that was our first big band that we interviewed. So it started to get good after a couple of months. And we were already nominated for an award at the Steamtown Music Awards, you know, like, and we had only been out for like maybe like 6-7 months. It was amazing. I let it go for a little bit. Like, I haven't been on it in a while, but I'm thinking about picking it back up and rebranding it again, but doing it as more of like one of these podcasts, like where I pick a friend and we just, you know, grab a topic and talk about that topic and different things about that topic throughout like maybe like an hour or like half hour time span. Because I don't know, I don't like doing interviews anymore. Like, it gets tiring after a while. Like, no offense to anybody who does them. Like, you know, shout out to you. You guys are great. I tried it. I was in the field for it, and it was just, I couldn't do it no more. Like, I started to like, my brain started to get fried. I was just like, I don't know what good questions to ask. Like, I don't have any good questions for you. Every podcast I started to do after like the first couple good ones, the questions just started to get repetitive. Like, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I can't do it. So like, I'm just thinking about rebranding it as like, you know, a friend thing, like get a friend on, do a podcast, talk about like ghost stories or like boxing, sports, something, anything that doesn't have to do with an interview, I'm fine with. Or maybe we'll have guests on and then they could join the discussion of whatever topic we're talking about.
Yeah, doing interviews like I've done like almost 80 this year already. It does get a little like repetitive. That's why like I always try to come up with like fun questions to ask or like different questions where it's not just like here's the same 5 questions as this interview. Because also like, the audience is like, well, why would I watch this interview if you just ask the same questions as this person? It kind of gets a little dull. But I was talking to a band I just interviewed like just yesterday, and they're like, "You ask like really good questions. You actually look like you care." Because like we've done so many interviews where we just got asked like a bunch of standard questions and it wasn't very fun. Like you actually make it entertaining. And I go, well, that is my job. I am the host. I have to make it entertaining. But also because I like the music, I like you guys. I've hung out with you guys. It makes it easier to like have a conversation, have a discussion because we can bring up a bunch of different stuff too.
Exactly.
So for sure, but I think you're the king of rebranding with everything you do. Like, yeah, we're just gonna change it up now, and we'll change it up again. So
Yeah, I'm telling you, like it's just everybody says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there's a couple things that was broke, so I had to fix them.
exactly. Words to live by. Words to live by right there. So I got a fun question for you as I am the host. I got to keep this entertaining. So what music have you been listening to this week, GTS?
This week, I've been listening to the same song over and over again, and it's one of the songs that I've made because I just fell in love with it, and it's a very special song, you know? It's a song about somebody I truly care about, and I just can't get enough of it. And I just been playing it over and over again because I'm trying to find more inspiration to make more.
Right on. Yeah, definitely. When you get a song, like even like I'm not a musician or songwriter, but like if I find a song, I kind of have it on repeat for a while just because like you just can't, as you said, you can't get enough of it. Just like it's stuck in your head. You're like, I got to listen to it again because I just love it kind of thing.
Like I will be sitting at my job and just out of nowhere sporadically just start singing it, like just because I love it so much. Like it's stuck in my head, and every time I play it I think about that person, you know, so it's fun.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's awesome. This week I've been listening, as I said, I listened to some Cypress Hill because it's good running music. I've been on a blues kick lately. I've been listening to like Ali Venable, Kingfish, like that kind of stuff. So it really kind of depends. Obviously, I threw in some metal, obviously, because I still love metal. But I've been on a blues kick for a while, for a few days now.
I don't really listen to blues. If I wasn't listening to that song, to be honest, because I have played some songs in between, it would have to be like old school stuff, like New Edition, like If It Isn't Love, Bobby Brown, My Prerogative. Like I like that stuff now. Like I never really dabbled into the old R&B stuff before or the old New Jack Swing stuff because I wasn't really exposed to it until I watched a biopic about New Edition and a biopic about Bobby Brown, and I was like, yo, I felt connected to each and every one of them in a way, and I felt a lot more connected to Bobby Brown, minus the whole like drug thing he had going on. But I don't know, something about Bobby Brown's music like connected with me, and I was just like, that's the kind of music I want to make because he rebranded himself, you know? So I was like, I want to do that. That's exactly what I want to do. And so Bobby Brown inspired me. New Edition inspired me. And those are the main artists I listen to now. But my favorite modern day artist is A Boogie. It's the way that I get to work with him because that's going to be one of the greatest days of my life.
Dude, I do hope that happens. I did hear you talk about during Zach's interview, so like, I do hope that happens too, because I think that would be awesome.
I really, oh my God, I'm hoping one day I get a freaking email from like Hybrids the label, like, hey, artist wants to work with you, and I'll be like, what? I'm ready. I've had the song ready for the past 3 years. No.
I can see you getting the email, but like, yep, sign me up. We're doing this right now. Let's go.
Let's do it today. Call him. I'm flying out. Let's go.
Dude, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like even with the stuff I do, like sometimes you get some very unexpected emails, and I'm always surprised with the people who find me, who find you. Like it's always really interesting just how people find like each other. So hey, you never know, dude. I do hope that happens. So
Hell yeah, me too. He's my favorite artist. Like what? That would be insane. What? Insane. I wouldn't know what to do. I really wouldn't. I would like probably like lose my shit. I don't know. Like I wouldn't know how to react if I were to meet him in person. Like he's a regular person just like me, and I would be like mind blown. Like my favorite artist, like somebody I look up to. I'm like, what? Hey, Boogie in the building? No way. I'm gonna faint.
solid impression right there.
That is funny.
That'd be awesome, my dude. All right, so I'm almost at the time limit. I'm going to wrap this up. I do got one more thing before I let you go. So obviously you're going through the rebranding. I heard you might be working on some stuff. So like, how are you going to finish out the rest of this year? It's already July, so we're halfway through 2021.
Well, I'm waiting for my contract to fully go into effect at the end of this month, and then I'm gonna set up for my first release, Baddest Ponte Pa Mi, which is a English-Spanish song. So I'm channeling both my demographics. I'm channeling my U.S. people, and I'm channeling my Latinos out there because I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. So ya tú sabes que tenemos un head aquí. You know what I'm saying? We outside with it. So and that's another song that's inspired by a special individual. I don't have an exact date for it, but I just want to start planning on it as soon as possible. I'm going to talk to my manager about it and see how we can get started. And singles until the album comes out, hopefully, you know, if I don't get too busy trying to just like get this album done, that way I could just get the album out. But I'm going to be trying to work as much as possible, doing the best I can to get content out and get the right stuff out too. I want to make everybody happy, especially myself. So just expect some new music.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Everything you got working, you've been working on. Definitely looking forward to listening to the new music. As I said, you know, with the image change, definitely looking forward to seeing how you put your spin on that. I think it's been really awesome. But please check out Stream Sport. Give a like to GTS, Gus The Savage. Check this stuff out. So, dude, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Very fun time here on Super Cool Radio.
Absolutely. I had a blast, man. Like, I can't wait to do this again. If I ever get another chance, I'm coming back. Like,
hell yeah.
This has been a great interview. One of the best interviews I've had. I felt like I said, like, since you've connected with DI, I felt like family. So, appreciate you for having me on. Shout out Super Cool Radio. You already know. It was lit.
It's always lit here on Super Cool Radio. But yeah, dude, like when you're about to drop that album, dude, I will happily have you back on, dude. I want to chat with you again, man.
Oh yeah. All I can say is it's coming soon, and it's a very special album. Oh, hold on, somebody wants to say hi. Come on over, KK.
Hey, come on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, KK in the building. Hi.
Hey, yo, dude, nice to see you.
Goodbye.
Well, I don't know how to top that. It's got a cameo by KK here on Super Cool Radio. But as I said, check out Stream Sport. Give a like to Gus The Savage. Thank you so much for having me on. Having you on my show. There we go.
Wow.
Of course, I am Matthew Thomas, the host of Super Cool Radio. Thank you so much for watching, and keep on rocking.
Peace.